let's say there are several corrupt political parties.
And you know very well of their corrupt deeds and transactions. And it is almost every day that news regarding their venal dealings keep surfacing. And even as those news articles surface, it does not bother us too much because they are supposed to be corrupt.
That's a mainstream political party. Obviously, it's going to be corrupt. But when it comes to a person or an institution that started off as something better, something higher or cleaner, then we raise our expectations just too high. Now, that might be self-defeating, because ultimately, even an urge to clean up is arising from the same filthy society, right? So even the cleanup process is bound to contain some impurities. They ought to be understood and probably even accommodated. Also, one need not give up hope too soon. Filth has accumulated over a large period of time. Cleaning up won't happen in an instant. That too is going to be a long process. It was not in 1757 or 1857 that India lost her independence, right? It was due to a long period of neglect of basics that we got colonized. That period extended for several centuries, right? A lot of things were happening in the religious domain, cultural domain, scientific domain, educational domain, that ultimately led to the fall of this huge subcontinent to much smaller nations from Europe. But once the fall happened, it was unrealistic to expect that now freedom can dawn in the blink of an eye. So then you required something like 200 years of incessant political and revolutionary activity to bring just political freedom to India. And other kinds of freedoms have still not come to us in the way they must. Why? Because the process of slavery itself extended over several centuries. So freedom too will take time. We are right now in the middle of the process of freedom, and in this process the political freedom has come to us and other freedoms are still pending. Similarly, the corruption thing that you're talking of, when you're talking of cleaning up, you have to ask yourself, how exactly do you find yourself drenched in so much of filth? And think of the centuries that have brought us to this kind of weary state. So if one political party fails in transforming the political landscape, then another one must come up. And you have to look at the whole thing in perspective. It's not a matter of months or 2 years, 4 years. It will take time. And if you are hungry for change, as you must be, if you want to reduce the time that the process will take, then you must with all zeal and energy put in your own bit. Only then the process can be accelerated. But let there be no false hopes. Bad politics is essentially arising from a bad collective mind. The politician is corrupt because the population is corrupt, right? And all corruption is fundamentally spiritual. It is a lack of proper spiritual foundation to common life that is causing corruption in all spheres of human activity. So when a reformation indeed does come, it will be a reformation not only in our politics, but also in our education, also in our movies, our literature, our politics, our everything, our relationships. It will be a fundamental change in who we are as a people. And if this kind of a cataclysmic change is to be brought about, let's be patient. Let's be patient with a desperate vigor. When it comes to action, we must act vigorously. When it comes to results, we must want them desperately. But equally, we must know that what we are asking for is something very big, and therefore it's definitely going to take time.